It is the 1st of August, 2024. This is WIKISPEED Stand-Up. Go ahead, Lord.
This is Lawrence Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada. And past week I've been watching Tiziano video, just trying to get an idea of it. But just today I logged into the Pi and I'm trying to do what he suggests. But I looked a little bit at his published subscribe video. He refers to a bunch of other videos to show you how to set them up. But then he goes through it. So I just created the package on the car, following his instruction. But I just got started doing that. I was kind of following the thing, and he recommended watching the publish subscribe video, so I started watching that. But rather than do that, I'm going to try and follow his instructions on the thing and then refer to the.
Okay, your audio went to shit.
Oh,
Okay, you're back.
okay. Yeah, I'm just using the laptop. Probably, I probably my volume went down because I was kind of thinking about something. Okay,
Okay.
coming week I'm going to carry on with that and see how far I can get. I guess the challenging thing will be the talking crosstalk. Let's talk in crosstalk about using the existing pan, because that's all he's got. That's all he's using the servo for is pan. So use the existing pan on the car and adapt what he's saying. And I'm imagining that going to maybe, I don't know if we have to cut into the wire or hack and figure out what it's already attached to, which GPIO, so we can modify his code to use that servo. Because he was using 22, I think, for the GPIO 22 for the servo. Or anyway, so that's kind of my plan for the coming week. Also, to look at some kind of rollout to the people who are interested in WIKISPEED. And blocks are just, it's hot, and I'm having to do kind of everything early in the day, and then so that by this time of the day I'm not as far as I would have liked to be because I was out doing stuff. And so that's back to you.
Okay, it is Michael Olchuk, Saskatoon, Canada. Not a lot to report for this week. Didn't get anything done on the CNC. Little Red Wagon project, no progress. And the rest of the stuff, no progress. I'm hoping to keep up to whatever you get done on the Little Red Dragon project, and I have a couple of things that we can probably talk about in crosstalk, so that I understand what you're doing and where I should be heading. My Polaris project, I did get I guess I got one thing done. I got my throttle removed from one of the spare Polarises, and I'm going to try it in the one that actually seems to mostly work. So I just need to get it plugged in and power up the controller and see whether it's giving me the same blink code or whether that fixes the problem. So hopefully I'm going to get that done here later today. And I guess that's it. Blocks are garden work, and scheduled visitors at the cabin took a long time. We didn't really get anything else done, but I saw my brothers and sister and their families and stuff. So hopefully we will do it again around Christmas, but probably not before then. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so I'm going to give myself a 7 and the team a 9 again, and process improvement um, thinking about when people are going to have time and do things. Like in my other projects, it's looking like people are kind of looking forward to the to August and doing things in August. A few people. Uh, anyway, like if we prepare in August, maybe we can roll out something in September this year. So back to you.
Okay, retro. I'm going to give myself 3 out of 10, and a team of 9. Basically, the process improvement. I guess I think we have to sit down and figure out where we are. But that kind of wraps it up for stand up. So when you're talking about Tiziano's demos or tutorials or whatever you want to call them, are you to the point where you can drive your Sunfounder around using the keys? No. Okay.
No, no, and then I wasn't going to try to use the Sunfounder stuff. So what my first project is to do the laser scanner.
Okay, so you're gonna try and do the laser scanner instead of reproducing his drive around scripts.
Does Tiziano have drive around scripts? Oh,
So in the publish subscribe stuff, that's
mm-hmm.
basically what
Yeah.
his
Okay.
his goal is to get the donkey car to the point where you can drive it around just using the keyboard, and it drives around, but he doesn't have video on the car, so it's not streaming the video back. At least I think there's not streaming video back.
Okay. I was looking at his library on GitHub,
Uh-huh.
and there is a thing for the camera.
I think he added the camera later. I don't know if the tutorial that shows how to do the driving also shows video. I can't remember. It's been a while.
Probably not, but anyways, that'll be fun.
So,
And
so where I ran into trouble was the fact that his library for driving the wheels was no longer supported, and I couldn't get it downloaded. So that's when I tried to use a Sunfounder driver, and I screwed everything all up, and it hasn't worked since. So
okay, I didn't
um,
realize that. I was thinking you were using the Sunfounder stuff.
I got the
Okay,
Sunfounder stuff to a point, and then I went, this is silly because we don't really want to use the Sunfounder stuff. We
so,
want to use
so I
the
I
raw
don't know
stuff. So
how recent the I know it goes back like 5 to 9 years. The
I,
his library.
I think his series of videos where he started with one that tried to cram everything in. I think it's like an 18-minute video, and you got to watch it like 8 times because he's
Right.
going so fast. And then he split it out into I think it's 10 or 11 videos. I think
There's a
that's about 5 years ago.
there's a link that kind of and I haven't looked at that to his website where he says he has the whole free course there, and maybe that's revised and updated. So
Okay, the free course was after I had looked at the videos. I remember at the end of the videos, he was talking about making a course where you kind of went through everything. So I would assume that that's more up to date, and it should have drivers for the wheels that are up to date.
so then I'm gonna go there first because driving around and probably I'm excited about the lighter because we've got one and I'm
Mm-hmm.
using the stuff, but I
Well, if
think
we mount it on the same servo that we have for the pan tilt on the camera,
yeah,
I don't know that the control is going to look any different.
yep, yeah,
So
I
we
yeah.
might not have to use. Well, I guess it's Sunfounder's code that has the pan tilt. So I guess we're gonna have to come up with something for Tiziano's code.
Like we could cut the wire and just put it into the pin that he suggests.
I'd much rather change his code because his code is actually very well documented. It's got like which pin numbers you used for what up at the top,
Yeah,
and
so
you
just
can
change the code. Yeah,
yeah you
that's
can
easy.
just change the pin number.
Yeah. but we have to know what pin, because um, there is the GPIO down the middle, and it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting in 3 rows instead of 2 rows like on a Pi. That
Okay.
hat, but they're labeled,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 36 of them, I think,
Yeah, something
as
like that.
opposed to 40. But then they also have those plug those things to plug in the connectors to.
Yes.
And we just have to know which pins those connectors are going to, and maybe in their documentation or on their website they should have that information, where the pin, which pins. Okay.
Yeah, because the Sunfounder has GitHub. I haven't dug into that, so I don't know where all that
Yeah,
stuff
okay,
is.
that's an interesting. It doesn't sound too daunting. An
Okay.
interesting kind of a thing. So I'll just keep working on that. Yeah.
Well, I want to make sure that I keep synchronized with you so that when we run into trouble, we can help each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going super fast. I'm also kind of interested in making a uh, sort of pitch video for the website, for the WIKISPEED website, to explain what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, you've seen Tucker, right? The film with Jeff Bridges about the advanced car at the end of World War II.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, so I don't care if I simulate it. I may be just pushing the car and moving it with my hand off camera, like they did, and that they got in trouble because
Yeah.
they showed the investors, but they actually had a pole pushing the car.
Well, it's very similar to Nikola, where the truck was rolling down hills. Did you hear about that?
No,
Okay, so the Nikola hydrogen semi or whatever, they
right?
showed it, driving on its own. Well, it's a very well known section of road that's like a 2% grade for 10 miles, and that's where they were showing it driving. It couldn't move on its own, so they got in
Yeah.
trouble for that too. Um,
Okay.
there is a person here that has a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, so the same one that we're using, for $50. I was going to go over and take a look at it. I don't know how to test it. Any suggestions?
Oh, I got a kit that has a LED, some little LED programs.
Well, I
Probably.
mean, he could have blown up any part of the pie, right? And I have no idea how to give it a
What
test.
about your this is I'm doing a shot in the dark, but what about your multimeter? Can you just test them?
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, there's like 30 some
easy.
pins, right? So
Yeah.
I'd have to have a program that exercised each pin. I mean, you can do it, right? It's just not, if you knew of something I could just
Oh, then the
uh,
other thing
pull
is,
off
and
GitHub and say
how much does he want for it?
$50.
You know, I mean, you're going on trust with a thing like that. So if it doesn't work, can I bring it back? That's what
Yeah,
I would
that's
do. And you'll be able to tell if he's very anxious for the money and doesn't know much about it. That's risky. But if he's like another maker,
well. When I picked up the tank, when he opened the box, it was very obvious that he hadn't ever actually taken the parts out of the box because
yeah,
everything still fit in the box. As soon as I took out three pieces, I couldn't get them back in because
right.
everything's packed just so,
So it's the
right.
same guy as the tank.
No, it's not the same guy.
Oh, this was another. Yeah. So you'll be able to tell. And what about just testing like the power?
Well, I
And,
figured I could put the ROS load on it and boot it and see if it showed up on Wi-Fi. I mean, that's basic stuff, right?
yeah, yeah, that's
But
good.
I don't know of anything that I can plug into it and that it will just go and check hook all of the outputs to all of the inputs and then exercise each one and say, yep, it works. I haven't found anything like that. I haven't
Yeah,
found any description of anything like that.
you'd need a cobbler. Remember, I got that cobbler for the Arduino. Yeah, you'd
Yep.
need a cobbler and a program that runs through all
Yeah.
with some
Okay.
LEDs.
Okay.
But
I figured it was worth an ask. Is there anything you want to talk about that you don't want to record?
did he sound like techie?
I haven't talked to
Mm,
him yet.
yeah, okay. So I think
Um,
you'll probably know it, and like I think it's actually it's sort of a fairly low. If he's a real maker, then he's not gonna. And
well, if he's a real maker, you wouldn't have sold it.
yeah,
Right.
right.
So
So it's probably maybe like the other one, just in the box, and
it's really really possible that he's going to take it and go. And there's going to be a cloud of dust.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
And that would be another exercise too to fix a busted one that had one busted thing. You know that Steve Wozniak, when chips were expensive and hard to come by, he went around and got rejected chips. That was how he built the Apple One. He went around and got rejected chips, and he could
but
work around them.
and he slowed down the clock speed.
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, yeah. I don't know the details of it, but what he said was the rejected chips only had one or two parts that, and so he could work around those parts and build.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. I don't know if that's a good investment of time.
It was for him because they didn't have money to buy chips. So.
Good point. My I'm not that poor. I think and that's why I'm arguing with myself whether to get the used Raspberry Pi or whether to just get a new one because
Yeah. So right,
like
and then
I've already got two extra Raspberry Pis. Okay, it's not that I need another one. It's like, well, I could always use another one. You know? So
right. Oh, I see now. So that's a little more nuanced question. I
mhm.
think collecting them is good. Uh, you'll know from the guy, if it's hooked up to stuff and there's blown up stuff near it, then maybe you won't
Yeah,
go on.
yeah.
But if there's
I
in the
really can't see
box,
that
it's probably
being
good. Yeah,
like
I've been thinking about.
I might see a 3D printer sitting there because there's a lot of Raspberry Pis using Octopi as a print server.
Uh,
But I mean, after you sell a 3D printer, then you don't really have much use for the Pi and that kind of stuff. So
After you set it up.
I know if you decide to sell your printer,
Oh,
then you don't need the Pi anymore, right?
yeah, right. So that's just a hunch, or do you know that he has a
I
3D printer?
don't know it. It of the people that I know that use Raspberry Pi, like 80% of them are used for Octopi, and all they do is spoon feed instructions to the
Right.
3D printer or a couple of 3D printers or whatever.
Okay. Speaking of 3D printers, I meant
Mhm.
to ask you about this. Part of the do-it-yourself lidar,
Mhm.
it's probably 180 or something, or it's 150, I think, is is a bracket, a 3D
Okay.
printed bracket. So
Mhm.
longer term, when you go over to the makerspace, if you could print two of them and send me one.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Um, if you can send me an email and just point it out, it's as part of Tiziano's stuff.
Yes, it's that one that is the lidar. That's the do-it-yourself lidar.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. So.
There's a parts list under in the notes. He actually, when he refers, most YouTubers, they say look in the notes under, and half the time it's not there.
Yeah.
But his quite meticulous. It's all there. So
Okay.
uh,
Looks like I'm going
if,
to have to watch his videos again because it sounds like he revisited them all.
yeah. So that's good. That's good that I ran across that, and so and I was kind of had another question on 3D. No, that was it. Just Yeah,
Okay.
let's get those two.
So
And also,
do you know how big the bracket is?
um, yeah, it's like this. It's like the size of a matchbook.
Is it less than half an inch thick?
Um, it looked like it, yeah, because it's like a hollow thing.
Because if it fits into a envelope, it's like $1.50 to ship it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's too thick to fit into the envelope slot, it's probably faster and cheaper for me to get someone in Vancouver to print it, and you go pick it up
Oh, well, I can go to Nanaimo and
or whatever. Yeah.
reconnect with the makerspace there. So I could do it. It's
Okay.
just I I
Oh.
think it's very small, and I think it'll fit in an envelope. And I think half the time they'll send it in the envelope if you put it in. Sometimes they'll call you on it, and but on that thickness thing, um, Netflix got their start by putting uh, DVDs in envelopes that offer zero protection because it was cheaper and easier for them to replace the CDs.
Yeah.
And, yeah, anyway,
Well, but the CDs are thin enough to fit, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I had a bracket that I sent to my great niece, and it ended up costing me like 25 cents to print it and $11 to ship it,
Oh,
which was kind of silly. So
right, right.
the next one
Yeah,
I printed out in Lloydminster, and she just picked it up.
yeah. So it should there should be somewhere in the code it should say the dimensions, right?
Yeah, the STL file. If you load it up, it will show dimensions and stuff. It won't show it in OpenSCAD. You have to use, I think it's FreeCAD. Has
Mm,
a handy measurement tool.
right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Either way, I've been thinking of reconnecting with the makerspace here and getting a month. Like,
Okay.
uh, think of projects or whatever, of a dozen things I want to do within a month, and then joining for a month.
Okay.
So maybe that would
I'm gonna hit the button here so that I don't forget and we don't end up losing it.